All right, folks, check this out. Donald Trump just got even more terrible news surrounding Jeffrey Epstein and his ties to Epstein because Maria Farmer, a woman who was assaulted by both Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, just came out in a CNN interview and completely debunked Donald Trump's claims surrounding Epstein. Trump, right now, as we speak, is trying to claim that he wasn't close with Epstein. They weren't friends. It was such a long time ago. You can't hold him accountable for that. She went on CNN and said, actually, quote, it was a known thing that they were best friends. He's lying. And she said even more in this interview that I want to show you. But before I do that, I want to get into her story a little bit, including an encounter that she had with Donald Trump that she even reported to law enforcement. So this was an article that the New York Times wrote about her. An accuser's story suggests how Trump might appear in the Epstein files. They write it was the summer of 1996 when Maria Farmer went to law enforcement to complain about Epstein. At the time, she said she'd been sexually assaulted by Epstein and his longtime partner, Maxwell, then in her mid-20s, had also learned about a troubling encounter that her sister, then a teenager, had endured at Mr. Epstein's ranch in New Mexico. Miss Farmer said that when she discussed her concerns with the New York Police Department, then with the FBI, she also urged them to take a broader look at the people in Mr. Epstein's orbit, including Donald Trump. Then still, of course, 2 decades from him being elected as president. She repeated that message, she said, when the FBI interviewed her again about Epstein in 2006. Her account is among the clearest indications yet of how Donald Trump might have come to be named in the unreleased investigative files in the Epstein case. Here's the encounter that she had with Donald Trump. Quote, she's not here for you, they write. The encounter with Mr. Trump, Ms. Farmer said, occurred in the 1990s, mid-1990s, 1995, as she was preparing to work for Epstein. She said she told the authorities that late one night, Mr. Epstein unexpectedly called her to his offices in a luxury building in Manhattan, and she arrived in running shorts. Mr. Trump then arrived wearing a business suit and started to hover over her. She said she told the authorities. Ms. Farmer said she recalled feeling scared as Trump stared at her bare legs. Then Epstein entered the room, and she recalled him saying to Mr. Trump, no, she's not here for you. The two men then left the room, and Ms. Farmer said she could hear Trump commenting that he thought she was 16 years old. After her encounter, Ms. Farmer said she had no other alarming interactions with him and did not see him engage in any inappropriate conduct in addition to this. And of course, she reported all of this to law enforcement. And now she's sounding the alarm on Donald Trump's lies surrounding Epstein. As I said, he's in the midst of trying to claim that they weren't best friends. They never hung out. They just met each other in passing in Florida, as all the wealthy people did. It's total lies. And she debunked his claims on CNN. So check it out and see what she said.
Close were they, as far as you were able to tell?
Well, like Epstein said, he inherited him in the divorce. You know, he said, basically, you're going to see us together all the time. We're fixtures because in the divorce, I inherited Trump and Ghislaine inherited Ivana. So he said, you're not going to see him at the house the way you see Ivana, and you're not going to see her at the offices the way you see Trump. And, you know, it was just, it was a known thing, like among the staff and everyone, that they were best friends. And Epstein bragged about it. And I gave up 30 years to report this. And it's a very serious thing to fight the government. You know, it's been unbelievable. I've been fighting 2 cancers because of it.
Wow. Listen to that. Everybody in the organization around Epstein, number one, knew that both him and Donald Trump were best friends, but also Epstein claimed that he inherited Donald Trump in the divorce between him and his former wife, Ivana. That's pretty stunning. You know, as Trump is trying to distance himself from this whole thing, we're just getting more and more revelations, bombshell revelations, I describe them, of his relationship with Epstein, whether it be that birthday card where he wrote very inappropriate things in it to Epstein, such as we have certain things in common. Trump has still not told us what he has in common with Epstein, but I digress. We have deposition video of Epstein talking about his relationship with Trump. We have these photos and videos that are coming out that have never been seen before. It's just all getting very weird. And then you factor in all these people who knew both Trump and Epstein at the time, saying that, yeah, they were best friends. They were like this. They were together all the time. It's just very strange. And it makes it even more suspicious with what Trump and his administration is doing and how they're handling this entire thing.
Maria, when we reached out to the White House for a comment, they responded, and I'll just read for you what they said.
Okay.
Quote, the president was never in Epstein's office, and in fact, the president kicked him out of his club for being a creep. They then say that Trump, they're clear there. They say he was never in Epstein's office, which, of course, from the original incident
Yes,
that
he
you're
was.
talking about is where this occurred, according to your recollection, at
Yes.
the Helmsley building in
He
New
was
York.
absolutely in the offices.
So what do you say when they give a
He's
response
lying.
like this?
Yes. I say that they're being disrespectful to the fact that I have given up my entire life for this case just to have it investigated. And I'm really sorry for him that he's caught, but, I don't know what to say to that. He's lying. I don't appreciate it. He was absolutely at the offices, and it was 9 o'clock at night. I thought it was inappropriate. But also, they were best friends at the time. So what I say to that is, I don't think he's really responding to the fact, and what does he mean the offices? He needs to be specific, because he was in the Helmsley Palace offices.
And it's also interesting that recently as well on CNN, Epstein's brother also confirmed that he saw Donald Trump in Epstein's office. So all these different excuses that the White House is coming up with right now to protect Donald Trump and defend him from this whole thing keep falling flat on their faces, because more and more people are coming out and saying, well, that's not right. I saw it with my own eyes. I saw Trump and Epstein there together. I saw them hanging out. They were best friends, just like Maria Farmer is in this interview. And let me just comment on this very briefly, how incredibly brave of her to come forward. She's talking about how this lawsuit, this case has really occupied so much of her life, and coming forward and saying like, this is total crap is so courageous. And I really appreciate her doing that. And big thanks to everybody who's coming out and making sure that Donald Trump is held accountable. And it's also worthwhile noting that her claiming and pretty much confirming that Donald Trump and Epstein were best friends, and while Trump is trying to run away from it, he can't because the evidence is on their side. She is not the only one. There was also Jeffrey Epstein's ex-girlfriend, Stacey Williams, who also did an interview with CNN recently, and she described Donald Trump as Epstein's wingman. Just take a look at that clip as well.
And how did Epstein talk about Trump? Sort of what was the quality of those anecdotes and how he described him?
Well, there was a time when he mentioned that he had to check in on him because he was unwell and very upset about something that had happened. I remember because he was late to pick me up and he was explaining why he was late. They were just, it was such a long time ago, but it was just that was his bro, that was his wingman. It was clearly, I'd hear about Ghislaine and I'd hear about Jeffrey. And I met Ghislaine in his house. She would come wafting in and out, the home in New York. So he was clearly just someone that he talked about all the time. And again, I met Jeffrey the second time and we started dating based on the reintroduction that happened at the Plaza Hotel at a Christmas party in 1992 that Donald Trump threw. And they were very, very close.
They were very, very close. They were each other's wingmen. Really just disgusting. And this is Stacey Williams, Epstein's ex-girlfriend, also an assault accuser of Donald Trump. So she has a lot of connections to both of these really gross people. And so when you have multiple people who know Epstein and Donald Trump saying they were best friends, wingmen, they were like this, very close, that really speaks to the relationship that Donald Trump has. So Maria Farmer coming out and saying like, yeah, they were best buds and he's totally lying, don't believe him. I appreciate that greatly and I had to show it to you. So I will leave the video there. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. Make sure to subscribe to the channel down below, drop a like on the video, comment, let me know what you think about this story. And as I always say, I greatly appreciate you and I hope you have an amazing rest of your day.